very soon with her wonderful audio as well. The wonders of technology, and welcome and good morning to another incredible wisdom circle. My name's Sophia from Sacred You, and we have the honor, absolute honor of presenting these wisdom circles. And today it is all about being you, living life authentically. And it really is an interesting time because it really is being true to ourselves and just accepting, just going with the flow with whatever is happening. Our beautiful facilitator, Jenny Lee, is having lots of technical issues, but she will join us very, very soon. So today, like I said, it's being you, living life authentically. And how to be that, how to step into ourselves, how to step into our true selves instead of living someone else's life. And before we get going, I'm just going to allow all these amazing women who are with us to say hello and to introduce themselves. So Mandy, would you like to say hello? I'm going to put you on the spot. I know this is your first time. I want to welcome you and honor you for being on the first time. Please say hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And I'd love to know what interests you in today's topic.
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. I'm super excited to be a part of this communication. I really notice that the women that share on this channel are just really deep and involved and intelligent and beautiful, and I feel very excited to be a part of it. So my name's Mandy Siegel, and I run a business called Finding Your Voice, and it's mainly for women. 50 plus is who I'm serving at the moment. Of course, there's a few people who are younger. But the reason and how I got to do this work is that I've spent 37 years on the stage as a singer, a performer, a speaker, a life coach, hypnotherapist now for the last 12, 15 years. And I am also a drag king comedian. So I have male characters that I've created and dress up and perform. And from having this career, I've decided I've been working on this my whole life to find my own voice, because whilst I could get on the stage as a singer and perform, I felt debilitated with insecurity inside myself. So there was a lot of masks, and it was really difficult for me to express myself of who I truly am and to feel safe enough to just be myself. And so it's been a lifelong journey. I started that career really 37 years ago, and ever since, have been working on it very, very, very deeply. And so what I've found, having the skills as a singer and a vocal coach, I'm a speaker coach, a life coach, and a hypnotherapist. So I've been able to combine everything on all the levels of finding my voice and finding your voice. So I'm helping women to get in front of the cameras to grow their business and go live. I don't know about you, but when I first started going live, my heart was beating 100 miles an hour and I was petrified. So a lot of women our age still have these big dreams.
Yes.
And then we start a little bit and then we run away. Or we can do it a little bit and then we just can't do it anymore. It feels too heavy, too scary. So I really get and help women find their true confidence, their true natural charisma to get out there and grow their business or deepen relationships and express their real feelings.
Thank you for that. I definitely want to know more about that. You live such an interesting life, so thank you, and having all those different hats. Which, yes, let's come back to that because I've got more questions for that. So, Christine, what about your beautiful self? Tell us a little bit about you, and I'd love to know again from you what interests you in being you and living your life authentically.
Well, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, like I mentioned before. I was a former marketer, campaign strategist, digital marketer. And one day I woke up and I just found myself sort of disenfranchised. I didn't want to chase people's money or find sales anymore. And what I was really aching for was to be of service and to help others find their path and their light. And just realized like I live in both worlds. simultaneously all the time. I'm constantly being given the opportunity to share what's on the invisible into the physical plane. So, um, I I use Ayurveda as a way of connecting yourself to nature and explaining what that actually means and the expression of how that shows up in your life and how you can interact with the world. And once you understand your doshic makeup, then the world opens up all of these amazing herbs and aromatherapy and, massage and soma and Chinese medicine. It's just there's just so much to access when we understand our own blueprint.
Yeah.
So I work with people who are looking to find more ease and grace and magic without forcing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. We definitely want to know more too. And Elizabeth, what about yourself? Tell us a little bit about you before we get going and your interest in today's topic as well.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, as always, for the invitation and this beautiful gathering. And I know each are going to provide just that special touch that they have to share with everyone. So thank you. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Gifford Maffei. I am in the Central Florida area, but I do work worldwide. And I am an intuitive and emotional wellness practitioner and the founder of Untangling the Heart. So, what that is methods to help people to release hidden emotional knots. They're actual frequencies that we hold in our bodies, that our bodies create. And we can hold on to those since childhood, or perhaps we've inherited them through our mother's womb, or even in past lives, or been inherited through grandfathers, grandmothers, and such. And that really keeps us in a place of not being ourselves. We're running on old programs that really don't serve us. So when I do these emotional releases, clients don't have to relive the past. We do not have to relive the trauma. We don't even have to talk about it. The body releases it. And Untangling the Heart is also a podcast, emotional freedom through honest conversations. And I have lots of other tools that I utilize to help people to guide them to become their best version of themselves. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We will be putting everyone's links below. So thank you, Elizabeth. Laura, over to you to introduce yourself.
Hi, also a Central Florida girl like Elizabeth in the United States. I am a storyteller. I currently also read tarot and practice Reiki, energy healing. Um, I think authenticity has been something that I have strived for in different ways throughout my life. And I think one of the biggest lessons is learning that part of authenticity is recognizing when we are changing and when we are evolving and allowing that to happen. And it's a topic that I love, kind of like, the idea of being you and creating a space for that within our own homes and in the work that we do, but also in being conscious of like who we are gathering around us. And so I just think that I'm kind of excited to have that conversation with each of you. And especially this idea of like who are we and who are we as we evolve. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Thank you. Dawn.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm honored to be in this space. So, I have been a nurse for over 30 years and I left in 2022. I'm now working as a advanced grief recovery method specialist, helping women heal the emotional pain and grief in their hearts after any type of loss or transition in their life so that they can have the fulfilling relationships that they desire and really build the life that they've always dreamed of. And one of the things that has me so passionate about this topic myself is that once I was able to heal a lot of the pain from my childhood experiences, I was able to figure out who I really was instead of living behind this mask and pretending I was someone that I wasn't. And so it's something that I encourage in everyone, because when we try to show up as someone other than who we really are, we can feel that in our body, in our heart, in our energy. And it doesn't honor the person that we are because we always come here with these gifts that the whole world needs because all of us are unique. But the only way we can share those gifts with others is if we choose to show up as our authentic selves.
True, definitely true. Thank you for that. And Anique, the beautiful Anique, tell us again, would you like to introduce yourself and what interests you in the topic before we hand it over to the amazing Jenny Lee?
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, sitting in the circle, this wisdom of wise women here. Love the topic. I've been on this conversation with Jenny Lee Taylor before, and I'm a fan of living authentically. And it's a journey to become more of yourself. It takes a huge amount of courage, a devotion. You've got to open your heart in the first place, and it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. And I guess my greatest teachers have been the female lineage in my family. I saw so much suffering. And I suffered so much emotionally as a human being that I thought there must be a better way. There must be a different way to do life. There must be a path of consciousness, a path of authenticity, a path of liberation, and that's the path that I'm on. And I love to be a companion, a guide to help women and some men. I work with some men as well to liberate their voice, to find their true voice. And I lead the movement called the Voice Alchemists. And I've channeled a modality called voice tapping. And I believe that your voice somatically and your voice as your message in the world are very connected together. So yeah, I'm all about joy. I'm all about realness, and I'm excited to see what we're gonna share at this table today.
Thank you, Anique, and I'm really, really excited exactly too. I'll be listening in the background because right now, and first of all, I'd like to honour all the women here who are joining us from all over the world and hand it over to the beautiful Jenny Lee Taylor, who is, I'm going to say, the absolute example, the living example of living life authentically. And even in today's world, I think to me, being authentic, part of being authentic is just going with the flow. And when technology doesn't work, you just accept with it and do what you can. So Jenny Lee, welcome to your wisdom circle. And I will be back in the end when you finish. And I'm looking forward to listening to a great conversation.
Perfect. Thanks, Sophia. I love actually listening to everyone's introductions. What an amazing group of women, wise women, and so interesting. I've got so many questions to ask all of you, probably not right now, but offline, and coming on board and talking about this topic that's really dear to my heart. This is actually the 10th and last Wisdom Circle that I've committed to with Sacred You on this topic, and we've had such a rich and varied conversation from so many different points of view up until now. So today, and it's actually only Anique that I recognise from previous ones. So it's great to have a fresh new bunch of people in and have also that thread of wisdom to come through from other wisdom circles on this topic. So my name's Jenny Lee Taylor. I live in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia on the East Coast, and it's a glorious and cool winter's day here. And so good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to anyone who's on board. I'm a breathwork practitioner and trainer, and really the modality of breathwork is the lens that I have basically done a deep dive on my whole life, and all those things that weren't working for me in the past, I feel like I've passed through and resolved. And I really feel like now that I've, just come home to myself. It's such a beautiful feeling when you can get to that spot. And I'm just about to release a new book called Becoming Whole, and it's about soul part return, or fragmented soul parts, through the lens of breathwork. So I'm really excited about that. And that has been a big part of my journey in terms of me coming home to myself and being able to be the real you in all circumstances, warts and all. I mean, and I don't know if it's an age thing as well, but I reckon at over 60, you kind of start to get this, you know what, I just don't care about what anyone else thinks anymore. So, so welcome to all you beautiful ladies and women, ladies, women. I actually prefer to call the female gender women. I think it's a lot more, for me, it feels a lot more respectful, and we're all women, let's stand in our power around that. So tonight I actually wanted to talk about just coming home and doing something a little bit different to what we've been doing in the past other 9, and coming home to, let's not do anything to change ourselves, but just recognize that part of us that's been there all along. And I wanted to start with a meditation, which I haven't done before. So I think the fresh people have brought in the fresh energy around this as well. And apologies to the women on, because I'm on my phone and I can only see half of you at a time. So I'm going to have to manage that. But if you'd just like to, the invitation is to sit and close down your eyes if that's not comfortable for you. Just, maybe look down, and we'll just do a little meditation to start. So bringing your awareness to your breath and just noticing what it feels like for you to breathe today. Is it free and flowing? Is there some resistance there? And you don't have to do anything, just not changing it. Simply noticing whether life is breathing you. Feel your feet supported by the earth. Feel the chair or whatever you're sitting on supporting you. And allow your shoulders to soften as you just allow your breath to flow through you. Noticing your jaw releasing and relaxing. Your hands become still. And with every exhale, just release who you thought you had to be. Releasing every role you had, every title you might carry at the moment, whether you're a mother, a sister, an aunt, a friend, a manager, a daughter, a business owner, just releasing every title on your exhale, releasing every expectation and every story that you may still be carrying. I often call those stories war stories, the ones we repeat over and over. And just simply breathe. Now, as you're breathing, imagine yourself standing on a beautiful forest path. And you're just standing still, looking ahead, looking down that path. And ahead you can see someone walking towards you. And as they slowly walk towards you, you realise that it's you. It's the version of you that doesn't have to perform. It's the version that doesn't have to try to get it right, or the one that doesn't have to carry everyone else. So this version of you that's walking towards you is the deepest and the truest version of you. And as they walk towards you, just notice their face. Notice the eyes. Notice what energy that version of you is holding. Noticing what that version of you is radiating. Is it peace? Is it joy? Is it strength, softness, freedom, something else? And slowly walk towards this version of yourself and stand facing each other. In your mind, ask them silently, what is it that you want me most to remember? And also ask, what do I need to let go of to live more fully in that version of you? And just notice what the answers come as. Receiving whatever comes. And the last question is, what is one commitment I can make to honour you every day? Just receiving whatever's coming, no forcing, no analysing, simply allowing. And then take one more deep breath and invite that version of you to come home to you. Feel this wiser version of yourself gently merge back into your body. And you are not becoming that version of you, you're actually just remembering that version of you, the version that's been there the whole time. And as you allow her to come home, feel her and connect to every part of her, allowing her to fill every cell in your body. Feel her touch your heart. And just notice what that feels like, what comes in for you as you bring her back to the foreground in your life. So just slowly bringing your awareness back into the room that you're sitting in, wiggling your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and saying to yourself, welcome home. Yeah. So I believe being you and being authentic is it's not something we really achieve, it's something we remember. And I know from hearing everyone's introductions today that all you women have been on the path to that for quite a while. So tonight or today, let's have a conversation around, what has that been for you? What are the biggest, looking back over your own journey, what have been the biggest shifts that have allowed you to come home to yourself? And if you'd like to just unmute yourself if you wanted to add to that conversation, let's kick it off that way. Who would like to start? Mandy?
I seem to be put in the hot seat today.
Well,
I'm happy. It's great. I am just going to go. Can you please ask me the question again? Because I'm still super deeply relaxed from that beautiful meditation. So please ask me again.
And, feel free to share what you felt coming out of that meditation. And the question, there's two questions. One is, if authenticity is not something we achieve, it's something we remember, what helps you stay connected to who you really are when you become busy and life takes over?
Well, the message, sorry.
Yeah, and also looking back over your own journey, what's been the biggest shift for you? Yeah.
Such big, beautiful questions. Okay, so in that meditation, the wise part of me that came was an extremely wise, cheeky man, jester with a white beard and sparkly eyes, and the message was about just remember to laugh. It's like there's a strength and solidity in the wisdom from having seen and learnt and been through so much of life, and just keep remembering, because I'm not afraid to be a bit of a jester, and I enjoy it. It's something for me. So it was about laughing, and so that was the message from that meditation and that wise part of me. And things that have sparked and helped me to find my authenticity have started so many years ago. Being on the stage, putting myself in the spotlight really just showed me and the world where I was at every given time. And when I started, yes, I am talented, great singer, love writing my own songs as well. So great performer. But I also remember this gig we did. I had a band, blah, blah, blah. I've had so many different iterations of being on the stage. And this one gig many, many years ago, I would have only been in my early 20s. And this one woman was mean enough to come up to me at the end of the gig, but it was a gift, and said to me, it was great, but you're not authentic. And it just cut my heart and soul. And I cried and cried and cried and cried for a long time. And so, one, it helped me to dive into the fact that most of my trust in myself was still looking outside other people for who I'm supposed to be. And it hurt. And it's been exhausting journey uncovering the masks over the layers of life to just find and be me and be enough to be me on a stage or off the stage, and even find a voice. And I was so used to people pleasing and making sure everyone else is comfortable, and it's exhausting. And so that was one. The next part I feel to share was, coming out as a lesbian back in the day. I was only 21 and I loved my family, and I grew up in quite a religious family, and I was disowned by half my family. And it again was like, being yourself is going to cause pain. So I hid it, but then it was this journey of finding my voice forever. I just kept going. And I feel like, even then, life, when it throws you those big things, it just keeps reminding you, then I got breast cancer. I'm not going to go through my whole story, and I'm well. So, but that was a really big one that goes, right, you're not living enough authentically. You haven't expressing your voice enough in real, who you really, really are. And there's nothing like life and death stuff to give you a gift to say, what is it? Who are you really? How can you show up softly and be, confidently and authentically? I don't even know if that answered the question.
Beautiful. Thanks, Mandy. There's a couple of things that came up for me then. There's a saying that I came across a few years ago. Two sayings actually. Is one was everyone opinions are like armpits. Everyone's got them, and most of them stink. And the other one was something about what you think of me doesn't matter. What's important is what I think of myself. Yeah, so beautiful. And so often, when we deny ourselves, it can manifest in our body as illness and disease and all sorts of things. So yeah, thank you for sharing your story. Who else? It's really easier for me if someone comes off mute so I can see you, because I'm Anik, you're popped up on me. Would you like to add to the conversation?
I'll do my best. See what comes out of my mouth. So I think that your question is the biggest shift to come back home to ourselves. And like Mandy was sharing, and thank you, Mandy, for sharing all these vulnerable places. For me, is also like being completely rejected from my family because I've written a book, and it hasn't been accepted because I talk about my family in the book. So I've been, like, wow, like crucified. I felt like the Jesus Christ wife. And And also, I had a near-death experience in 2017 where I lost all my capacities. Like I became like a baby again. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything on my own. I lost 20 kilos. I was skin and bones, and my uterus literally exploded. I wanted to make sure that this lineage was ending with me. It was ending here. But what the suffering I've been going through is not necessary. This is really in my teaching and learning, because of course we teach what we need to learn the most, is really about we don't need to suffer to learn. We don't need dramas, we don't need traumas, we can free ourselves, and we don't need to dig that deep. It's really about like becoming conscious, aware, and open that we actually are sovereign being, and we're constantly in creation mode. This conversation here has never happened. There's some women on the other side of the world. I'm in Australia right now. I'm originally from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But we're sitting here in this wisdom circle, and we're co-creating this experience, this conversation. And it's constantly like that. We're creating with our thoughts, with our actions, with our choices. We are constantly in creation. So we have the power to redirect our energy when we find ourselves spiraling back in the past, or in our ego. In some stories, we have the capacity to come out of that and come back to presence. And when we are in the zone, when we are in presence, like right here, right now, what I'm channeling, that's where, miracles happen and co-creation happens. And that's where it's in the present moment.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that. It's a great reminder. And I think that's a big message for people out there who are on this path, is that please don't wait until you have that near-death experience, or that big fright that wakes you up. If you look back on the 9 wisdom circles so far, and actually all the wisdom circles that Sacred You put together, there's so much advice and so much wisdom there that you can draw on all of that to change the way you're looking at life in the moment, and don't wait for that big wake up call. Become conscious and aware now. Become the co-creator of your own life. You are the starring role, and taking responsibility for the part you play in the part we play in all of our lives is really important. So thanks, Anik, for reminding me that we can change it, and it's really important to know that we can be the link breaker in our lineage for everything that comes down the line. We can be the one that says, no, I'm not going to carry this forward anymore. Thank you, ancestors. Well, let's do life differently now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Christine.
Amen.
Yeah. I was really thinking deeply about the question about authenticity, right? Like what brings us back. And what I have practiced in my life is to be a truth speaker. Like when you speak the truth of your living, your life, your relationships, you are speaking the frequency of God. And in that, truth prevails. You just show up. You just automatically have to show up. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? But when we're not honest with ourselves, we're not like living from that space, it's hard to be generous and compassionate and loving when you're constantly, like trying to figure out how you're going to show up. So if you just breathe into, like come into your heart and feel that expansion and understand the I don't know, the wisdom, the depth, the gift that you are, and radiate that outward, no matter what, magical things happen. And yeah, I get my own lessons about resistance and rejection and not enoughness, but inside of that, every time it shows up, If I face it and I'm moving forward and I know that with the right intention that good things are going to happen, all those really bad things that have occurred turn into really deep lessons. And I think with so many of us as women, we're taught culturally not to show up. Don't make that guy feel bad by being as brave and, honest as you are. Like, make sure they feel like, I've been told that my whole life. I'm 4'10". I walk into a room, I change the frequency of it. Men are sometimes intimidated just by the way I look or how I appear, but I just could never be an athlete in high school and in college. I could just never not be me. And so I've just learned to take the punches and respond with kindness and consideration. I own the stuff that's mine, and then I reject. I give back what is theirs, what they're projecting onto me.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
Yeah, that's lovely. And the idea of being radically honest with yourself and taking radical responsibility for the part you play in your own life, I think that's one of the people trip over when you can't or don't want to face being totally honest with yourself. And it's the biggest service you can do for yourself when you're on your personal awareness journey and coming back to who you really are. It's just to be honest. And Christine, I love that you can walk into a room. Your energy must be so big. I can feel it from here to be for others to be, almost intimidated by it, which is not what we really want to be. We just want to.
I always find it really hilarious that a tall white man who's probably 6'2", 6'4", finds me obnoxious. And and I'm not an obnoxious person, but it's it's the height difference, it's the cultural thing, it's all of that. And for some people, I can break through that exterior, and other times I can't. So, and then I just leave it. I don't try. It's sort of like, okay, well, have a good day. I'll be on my way. And then people that I can have a conversation and enjoy each other's company, I do. But yeah, you just have to pick and choose.
Who you are. You are who you are. We are all just who we are, and there should be no, having to seek forgiveness for that in any way. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Yeah. Laura. Oh, Dawn.
Oh, wait, Dawn, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what helped me really come home to myself was at the age of 30, I found myself divorced and I was a single mom. And I remember going to my therapist, just heartbroken, right? Because this isn't the life that I had planned. This is what happened. And he asked me, "Who are you?" And my answer was, "I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, and I'm a wife." And that's all I could come up with. And he said, "But those are only the roles you play." And so that really started me on my journey to figuring out, who am I? Like, who is the real Dawn? What do I really like? Because I've spent my whole entire life up till this time caretaking in my job, in my home. I grew up in an alcoholic home, so it was always, let's keep the peace. And so I didn't really know who I was. And so it was my healing journey that led me back to myself and to find that my voice, because I had played small for so long while I'd been taking care of everyone else, and to learn that it was okay to be myself versus pretending to be what everyone else needed. And, I still, at 53 years old, sometimes can find myself trying to be what other people need. And I'm getting better at pausing, like, okay, I need to remember who I am. And things that help me with that are spending time in nature by myself and just breathing and reconnecting to my soul and to my spirit. But for years, I just played those roles, just like, a good nurse, a good wife, a good mom, but didn't really know who I was.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so interesting and so on topic for me, because my mother recently passed, and it's been a bit of a shock to the family. But when I was asked what occupation do I put on her death certificate, I just went, wow, you know. And my mum was a farmer, and you know, I was going to put farmer, and then I said to the woman, I said, but she was so much more than a farmer. And I find these roles, these titles we have, it conjures up an image in people's minds of what that means to them, not necessarily who they are. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I love that question. Who are you? And next time, I'm actually going to train myself to next time, instead of, you know, when you're at some networking thing, go, oh yeah, what is it that you do? I'm going to say, who are you?
I
and
love it.
find my own answer to that. So when someone asks me that, yeah, great, I love that. Thank you, Dawn, for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Lauren.
Hi. I pay attention to my body. I think over the years, I have noticed like what resonates and what doesn't, and how my body is responding to what I'm doing in the environment I'm in. And like part of how I've been able to come back to myself is noticing when when I am starting to feel like I'm dying on the inside, or when I'm starting to feel like there is sadness or depression or different things like that. And like I've experienced several pretty severe like health experiences with burnout. I worked in the film industry, and which was a passion. Like when I started out the film industry, I had a lot of passion and I had a lot of love and excitement. But I also experienced a lot of burnout with it. And a huge part of how I kind of stay in alignment with what is authentic to me and who I am is just paying attention to how my body feels about things, and paying attention to how I respond to things. And I think one of the biggest things, even with film, was noticing when it stopped being exciting for me, and where my identity, as we've talked about, like there's these roles that we play, but then there's who we are as the person. Being a filmmaker was such a form of my, like a part of my identity. And then when it no longer resonated with me, I was sort of like, well, who am I? Like, who am I beyond the filmmaker? Who am I beyond that? But kind of like Dawn, you talked about going out in nature. That's always been a place for me as well. Is like there's just nature is authentic, you know. It's like it's just the birds are out there, the trees are out there, whether they've got brown leaves or not, they're just like, you know, in their full selves. And so I think that like paying attention to my body and like what kind of my inner voice is saying about where I am on the journey has often been a reminder of like, are you living according to your true self? And also has, you know, how does, when life changes and when you notice that something doesn't resonate anymore, where do you come back to that center? And I do think that sitting out in nature is a big way that I do that, is just like putting my feet in the grass and feeling that connection. And it's almost like that reflection that I am also nature. Like at the end of the day, we are all nature. And so there's something really special about being able to kind of like strip down to some degree in nature, in a way that we're like, okay, throw out the titles, throw out everything else. Who am I in this moment? And where do I go from here in that moment?
Yeah, beautiful. And our titles can often be a form of protection when we don't want to either face who we are, or we don't want others to pay some sort of have some sort of opinion about who we are. And you know, the body part is a really important part as well, because I've noticed in my journey, listening to my body more, it's actually opening up that intuitive side of self as well. It's because it's all about awareness, isn't it? You know, awareness of what we think, Anik, what we feel, how we respond to things. And, you know, it's really the step one in this process of coming back to self and being authentic is really having some more self-awareness. Yeah, beautiful. I was out in the bush recently and felt that whole connection to everything that is. It's just so delicious when you have that. Thanks, Laura. Elizabeth, come on in.
No, well, Thank you so much for that lovely meditation in the beginning before you even said that person that was coming, that there was a person coming to us. I saw a Pleiadian, a very tall Pleiadian walk toward me. And I will tell you that spirit is here and has been here, and they're just like leaning over my shoulders, looking and just enjoying each and every one of you. It's very, very heavy and loving right now. And the Pleiadian brought in kindness and love and the word limitless, a reminder that we are limitless, and also not to be attached to timelines. And I think that's a little bit of what we've been talking about is, we have these concepts of we have these roles and things that we limit ourselves with, or society limits us. And I just loved that message. I had an awakening when I was in my mid 30s and my kids were little, and my daughter had a birthday party, and we took a movie of her party, and we were playing it back. And I saw myself in the video, and I didn't recognize who I was at all. I looked at this woman and I said, I see her body, but I don't feel inside how she's acting in the video. And it was very stark. And I think that was the beginning of an awareness and awakening for me. Going through a life change of leaving my partner after almost 25 years. He and I had a soul contract, so we had completed it. And I all of a sudden began to recognize who I was, to remember who I was again. And the word integrity has been coming up so much the last couple of weeks. Not about integrity like, are you honest? Or are you loyal? I don't mean about that. The integrity is what we're all talking about, is who we really are, what we're here to do, what brings us joy, how would we want to work in the world. And once we really begin to discern what our integrity is, like very much like Christine, she shows up and that's who she is, and she's large and she's authentic and comfortable with that. When we become really authentic and we learn not to compromise, we learn not to give up. I did that at a very young age. I gave up who I was because I didn't clearly understand who I was. And we set those boundaries and say, okay, if this is not going to work, just release it and move on, right? Release the past, but then we can always reinvent. We can reinvent the future, but it's really the now. How do we want to feel right now? And I think that's what I mean by integrity. How do we want to feel right now?
Beautiful. And the future is made up of moments of now, isn't it? In every moment we create what our next step into our future is. There was something else you said, recognizing. So it's a broader question for anyone, really, is to take a look at yourself in the mirror and go, do you recognize the person that you are looking at, or who you are sending out into the world? And it's a great place to start with. If the answer is yes, fantastic. But if the answer is no, then what does that mean for you? I really like that. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you for the Palladians being here today. I actually can feel the love of them, and I can really see how they would be coming in for you on our behalf as well. Thank you. Christine.
Well, this just happened to me. I went to a camp in Shasta, and there was this reoccurring lesson. And the lesson was about people commenting on me, whether I was too big or I was too much, or I wasn't making a contribution. And I wasn't going to go to this camp. And one of my friends from Australia was here, and she said, "Oh, you should go. You shouldn't let what other people think or say about you matter to you, stop you from living your life." And Jeannie is so persuasive. And so I sat on it overnight. I talked to my son, and then I ended up going. Well, when I got there, that lesson kept reoccurring. And before I decided not to go, it really impacted me. And I didn't feel good about it. And then as the lesson kept showing up, and as I kept healing more, all that noise didn't bother me, right? And it was really, Jeannie had said to me, you just need to toughen up. You need to get a thicker skin and just march forward. And so, when stuff would happen, I'm like, I need a thicker skin and I need to march forward. And I just do that. And so it happened, like, I don't know, the lesson came up probably 4, 5, 6 times over a course of 5 days. And then I'm processing it. I'm driving home processing it, and owning what's mine, and giving them the responsibility for what was theirs. And the next morning I wake up, I'm looking at my phone, I'm reading my text, and my neighbor had this upset with me over our HOA because something had happened and I said something that really upset him. And he wrote me this long, I mean, really long text. And he's pouring his heart out to me. And my response to that was, "Thanks, David, for taking the time for telling me the truth, telling me your truth. And I appreciate that. And this whole thing with the HOA is a blah, blah, blah. I get that. And I hope that you will give me the opportunity to repair our relationship, because, I love you and I care about you." And so he wrote me back immediately and said, "I love you too. And of course, I would never not love you." you know, but the lesson there for me was, in my history, I would have like, "Oh, what did I do? How did I show up? What did I say?" And I would like take all this responsibility for somebody else's upset. And now that I have a thicker skin, I'm in observation of, oh, look at that. Okay. Let's glean out what needs to land here that I need to take responsibility for. But all the other upset, okay, that's yours. And in my history as a woman and as a daughter and a mom, I never really separated those things out as clearly. And I think knowing what our wounds are from when we're kids, being able to emotionally grow up and heal what's ours, lands us in that place of being more authentic, more real, and also more loving. Because I think in my history, had I gotten that long text, I would have responded and tried to, refute the points that weren't true, because I had to, stand my ground. And now I just realized, like, yeah, I don't need to stand my ground. I just need to acknowledge that somebody got hurt, they were upset, and I can either own it or not own it or acknowledge them. I will always acknowledge them, but I don't need to fix it. I don't need to make it good for them. I don't need to leave me less than to make them feel more than. We just
Yeah.
get to separate in partnership.
Gosh, there's some big lessons in there. Thank you, Christine, for sharing your take on all of that. It's and it's a work in progress all the time, isn't it? um, and I feel like in there, it's just gone straight out of my mind. Sorry, and I keep looking at you because I see you lean in, and then I see you lean out again, and I'm seeing you lean in, and I really value your thoughts on things. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And leaning out.
Because I'm just sitting on the piano and it's like a little, yeah, the way, anyway, that's just the way I'm set up. So I go like this. Anyways, but I also get captivated by all the women here sharing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Beautiful.
well, I mean, something that I want to add, I suppose, we have to choose. I mean, it sounds a bit cliche, but you have to choose yourself. You have to choose above, like it's a journey. You have to learn to set boundaries. You have to learn to recognize and know what are your true yeses with all your heart and soul, and what are your true no's. It doesn't happen just in a flash. I mean, funnily enough, we should say, well, it's just being yourself. No, but you've been programmed, you've inherited, is that the word? Anyway, you've received some programming and conditioning from your family. There's some collective human, programming and all that. And at the end of the day, we want to belong, we want to be loved, and we twist ourselves like pretzels to fit in. And until we have enough, until we have a near-death experience, or we have whatever it is, like a nervous breakdown or a divorce, or a bit of a dramatic thing happening, and we say, no more, no longer, I'm not going to be the pretzel anymore, I'm just going to be me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say, well, enough. I'm all twisted here. It's so uncomfortable that I'm gonna, get out of my shell and say, whoa, that's enough. I'm gonna love me and accept me, because anyways, no one will really love you until the day you accept and love yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like being a puppy dog. Please love me, please love me.
Right. Yeah. And
Like,
it's like the point where you become so sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when true change happens. There you go. I think we're coming up to time, and I know we started a little bit later, but Elizabeth, I hope you don't mind this, and I hope I'm not putting the Palladians on the spot, but I was wondering if there was anything that they would like to add to this conversation. And it's okay.
Siamo som sial ekitia asapsi. Ishi kirchunka unka ashtiam baka umba siata baka a. You are the world, you are the one. You are the universe. Live in your peace, live in your harmony, live in your heart. Create.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. So maybe we can just go around quickly and summarize one piece of wisdom that you would like to share in supporting people going forward, that they could do to help them come back to themselves, to be their real authentic selves in the world. And I'm going to start with Mandy. Is that okay? No? Okay. Well, I can go to Christine. That's fine. Christine, did you have anything?
I really invite everyone to understand their nervous system and realize that you're an expression of nature, and get the keys to the rest of you, the rest of who you be, and how you show up, how you operate, and how you perceive the world.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Mandy.
I would love to share that finding your authentic self doesn't have to be this big thing all at once, that it can happen in small increments by really, again, tuning in to yourself and expressing your truth, that you are enough, that's enough. And it can be in really small things to start with, and that we always have choices on how we respond. And just, really being in touch with our own self first and expressing it, maybe even in writing first, like in a journal first, to find your voice, to share what your truth is, and then doing it with a trusted friend or a loved one or whatever. Starting with that can be really useful to then grow your legs, because the real authenticity and confidence, so to speak, you can't just wish for it. It's actually action. You listen to yourself, action first, then comes the evidence, I've done that, and then comes that identity shift that it's safe to be me. And again, it's like what Christine shared, really working with your nervous system to take you along the path. It's like your wise self is holding you along the way
Yeah,
on the
beautiful.
journey.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Mandy. And Elizabeth.
So the word curiosity has come up. Just
Mhm.
be curious. Approach things with curiosity rather than, I'll use the word judgment, because sometimes we are harsh on ourselves, or we put ourselves, as Anik says, we create our pretzel, our pretzel mode. And when others are expressing themselves, just see that that is something that they're trying to deal with. It really isn't us. They're just reflecting out how they are feeling or what they are grappling with. So just be curious, be that observer to step back and say, that's interesting. That's interesting that I feel that way, or that that person reacted that way. I think curiosity is helpful.
Yeah, it's so important. And curiosity also releases any right or wrong as well. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Laura.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Christine said, and also, I guess, say what I said before, of just like paying attention to your body and paying attention of how you feel, and what you're resonating with and not resonating with. I think that um, sometimes even, truth and authenticity doesn't always initially feel great. I don't mean it in the sense that like things should always feel great, but I think that when you get that truth, it shifts something in you in a big way. And so I think just like pay attention to your body. Our bodies are very wise, and that deep intuition is there. And so I think paying attention to that will be really big, and paying attention to if you are where you truly want to be.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, we have one brain, but a mind in every cell, don't we? Every part of our body. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Laura. Sorry, Dawn.
I would invite people to ask themselves, when did I give up myself? And was there a certain circumstance or belief system that made me believe that I wasn't good enough just being me? And then finding someone that you feel safe with to show up as your authentic self. Because many of us have people in our life that we love dearly, but we don't feel safe,
Yeah.
which is showing up who we want to be, who we are. And so, like Mandy said, those small little baby steps, choose a person you can be yourself with, one person. And then if that goes well, then you choose someone else.
And it's kind of like building that confidence to create more safety.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. It's a great discernment to have, to know who you can be safe with and who you can't be when you're practicing being you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dawn. Appreciate that. Thank you. And Anik.
That's really beautiful wisdom. Oh my gosh, I love everyone share curiosity, safety. It's just so important, like nervous system, bodies. I'd say I would offer that listening, deep listening, because your heart knows. Your heart knows the truth. And it's breaking a cycle of self-betrayal. It's be gentle with yourself, be kind, be gentle, be patient, be very, very patient in this process that is ongoing. You know what I mean? It's ongoing. We do 2 step forwards, diving into, yeah, well, I'm free now. I bring a hold of me now, and then whoops, a step back. Something happened, and we go back in this little girl who's become the pretzels again. So you know what I mean? It's a dance. So deep listening, I know for me, music, singing takes me home, piano, singing, nature, going, you were saying, Jenny Lee, I love being in nature, being in the ocean. I live near the ocean. Um, e- Extreme self-care, extreme self-care. Number one is you, always you. It's not your kids, it's not your husband, it's not your clients. Is number one is you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Anik. Wow, so much wisdom in this group. Thank you so much, everyone. My tip would be to really allow yourself to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, there's not much hope in my book. In being able to really come back to who yourself, and all those other things that all the other women have already talked about. It's creating that awareness within yourself so that you can have this constant check-in with yourself, I guess. Yeah, and thank you so much for all the tips, women, and also for the Palladians who graced us with their presence today. Thank you so much, and I'm going to hand back to Sophia.
Thank you, Jenny Lee, for yet another wonderful wisdom circle. Can I just take a moment to honour you really again? But Jenny Lee, I do have to say, I know you said this is your last wisdom circle with this Sacred You, but I think I have to say your very first wisdom circle and your very last wisdom circle, you've had both experienced tech issues. So I think that's a sign to
Yeah.
overcome the tech issues and come back. At
Yeah,
least
that wasn't lost on me this morning.
Very, very, very interesting indeed that it was the
Yeah.
first one and the last one, but I'm so glad that you're here, and it's been a pleasure of having you facilitate. I said, do come back more.
Yeah.
And for Mandy and Christine and Elizabeth and Laura and Dawn and our wonderful Anik, again, thank you ever so much for joining us. For anyone out there who is watching the live or the replay, click on the links, reach out to some of these amazing women, and come and join us for all our other wisdom circles and so much more that we have to offer in Sacred You. Check us out. You know the website, sacredyou.love. The exciting news is we are also on School now. We have an app. We haven't had an app for ages, but now we're using the School app. So it's school.com/Sacred You. Come and check us out. Check us out. That join us for free. Just hang out on School. There's so much on there, and there'll be so much more. And until then, we will see you again next time, and we will also try and talk Jenny Lee into coming back again.
I'll be back. It's just the last one in this Being You series. That's all.
Oh no, I think we'll see you soon too.
Yeah.
Thank you.